So recently I watched a video by Whammy Analysis regarding his way of doing analysis. The video got me thinking, in what way do I analyze MLP and why have I chosen this method? What I found is that I typically ask myself, how could this scene work so it fits with everything else in the show, instead of the usual question, what is going on in this scene? Notice there's a big difference between the two questions. My question focuses more on making the scenes connect with one another, whereas the usual question focuses only on understanding the scene in question. The reason I do this is because I think it is easy for the show staff to make mistakes with the characters, since there's multiple writers, each with their own opinions. This factor makes it possible for the same character to be portrayed differently between two episodes, since I do not want the characters, or anything else for that matter, to randomly change from episode to episode. I come up with explanations for the changes. Now I know what you're probably thinking, but Past, how can you call your explanations analysis if you're consciously manipulating what's happening in the episodes? Well, the answer is simple. I look for evidence to support my conclusions. If I can't find enough evidence, then I don't call it analysis, I call it headcanon and move on. When you really think about it, the only difference between analysis and headcanon is evidence. Yes, both words have their own definitions, but the fandom definitions are very similar. According to how we use analysis and headcanon, analysis is what we believe is true about the show, whereas headcanon is what we believe is made up. The key term which unites the two words is believe, and what makes us believe one is true and the other is made up? One has more facts from the show to back it up, and the other doesn't. Thus, I call all my conclusions analysis if there is evidence to back it up. My way of doing MLP analysis has two outcomes. One being that I create a lot of headcanon. This is because I first answer questions however I like, and then funnel through what is and isn't analysis. Normally people don't do this. They answer their questions by going through evidence in the beginning, and thus no headcanons are made in the process. The fact that I create all these headcanons as a byproduct brings me to the second outcome of this analytical approach. I do not care that much if the MLP staff makes a story mistake. Reason being, I'll just come up with my own explanation, whether that's analysis or headcanon. As a matter of fact, I actually like coming up with explanations, so the more questions I have to answer, the more entertained I will be. This is not to say that I want the MLP staff to fail in their storytelling. I obviously want them to make great stories and put time and effort into whatever they make. More of what I'm saying is that I can deal with their mistakes because I like answering the questions generated by them. One last thing I want to make perfectly clear. Even if I enjoy a scene that the MLP staff has made, I still might think said scene was implemented poorly or a lazy option in the grand scheme of things. For an example, I love certain scenes from Equestrials, but I think that certain scenes were lazy because there were so many better options they could have taken. So please, do not assume I think something is or isn't lazily executed based on my enjoyment. And that concludes this video. If you have any thoughts on what I've said or suggestions for future videos, feel free to leave a comment. Other than that, I'll see you next time.